Well, thanks for coming, Angus. He's going to say a few words, and then hopefully there'll be a time for a few questions afterwards if anybody's got any. Thank you.
Firstly, thanks very much for the invite. Normally quite nervous when I come and face the fans, but if I can't come and speak to you when we're top of the table, then things really are in a bad state of affairs. I think what Steve's talked about is over the last year, the club and the trust have definitely worked closer together than I think probably at any time in kind of recent history. And we've had some successes, whether it's the blue plaque, whether it's some of the stuff we've done on safe standing, or I think the spirit that we've built with the foundation, which has sort of crossed over into some of the other supporters groups, like marching out together. The positivity that we've got from the fan base and working closely with them, I think, has been reflected in how everyone's feeling at the club, and also reflected in how we're doing on the pitch. So for me, the biggest thing for Leeds United is that we need to be united from the boardroom, from the players, from the manager, and the fans. And that unitedness hasn't always existed, and I think it really does at the moment. And it's not just about the fact that things are going well on the pitch. What you won't see is that week in, week out, I'm speaking to members of the board of the trust about various issues. So the dialogue is consistent. There might be about small things that need to be clarified. There might be about points that have cropped up where we think we're not quite doing as we should do. We've had some open forums like the forum we had on ticketing, and all of that feedback is taken up to board level, and I think we really have a club at the moment where the fans' voice is heard in the boardroom, which is what we all want. And Andrea wanted to be here today. He's actually in Italy at the moment because of the international break, but he wanted to give you his regards and thank you for his support. I mean, the support we've received this season has been absolutely phenomenal. At home, we are now looking at selling out pretty much every game. While we're playing like we're playing at the moment, it's at the moment we have a handful of hospitality seats for every match, and that's it. And I know on the away tickets are a continued source of frustration, but we just can't find a way to fit 10,000 people into 2,000 seats. But that's the challenge we have kind of week in week out at the moment. From a playing side, we're very conscious that we're in a similar position as we were last season, and we all know how that ended. So we know how fragile success in the Championship is. But what I can tell you is from behind the scenes is that it does feel different this year. I think it probably feels different if you're watching it. It certainly feels different if you're at the training ground. There is a steeliness and level of focus amongst the players and the squad, and certainly amongst Marcelo, who is completely unflappable, completely ice cool, completely convinced in his principles, totally unshakable, has a definitive position on absolutely everything. And when Victor and I went out to Buenos Aires to try and sell him on the Leeds United dream, he gave us a very clear vision of what he was going to do with Leeds United, and that included how they were going to train, how the training ground was going to operate, how we were going to deal with different types of opposition, how we were going to the players that were going to be in the squad, the players that weren't going to be in the squad. And what's really remarkable is what he said 3 months ago is exactly what he's doing now, player for player, style of football, training, philosophy at Thorpe Arch. So I think it's really unusual for somebody in the Championship or a team in the Championship to have a manager of that level of gravitas and vision. And that makes me feel and the board feel very confident that we can deliver something special this season. And you'll feel that from the players. The players don't talk about even now. So we had the you'll have noticed none of you will have spotted a picture of Marcelo receiving the Manager of the Month award. And we have to be respectful of our sponsors because it's a sponsor-donated award. So, greatest respect to Sky Bet. But he didn't want to receive it because he said, I haven't won anything yet. He said, you come back to speak to me in May, and then you can give me something then. He's very focused on what success looks like for Leeds this season. So all in all, I think we're in a really good place. I think there's lots more areas that we can work together. We have got the centenary coming up, and I think we all need to make sure that the centenary celebrations are fitting of the stature of the club. I think we need to celebrate our history and our future, irrespective of what league we're in. But we need them to be fan generated. So I think one of the things where we're looking for the trust really to give us a lead is in the planning process, which is starting now for next season, and making sure that the centenary season is not only a celebration of Leeds United but a celebration of the city as well. So all in all, we're feeling very positive. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the football. Hopefully some of you are resisting the temptation to shout "launch it" when they're playing in pretty triangles at the back of the pitch. I'm not. I get punched by Victor every time I suggest that Cooper should send it into the top row of the East Stand. But bit by bit, we're going to learn that they can play out from the back, and when they do play out from the back, it almost inevitably leads to a goal at the moment. What we also need is that there are going to be some moments of we're going to have some challenging moments this season. Nobody walks away with this league, and I think. The key is, and I don't think it really happened last year, is that when things go wrong, we need the supporters to stick with the players. Marcelo talks a lot about the players being true to the philosophy and following the philosophy even when they're kind of bumps in the road. And what we need to do is when things don't go wrong and when we fall a goal behind, or when a defender does make a mistake as they're trying to play it out, which will undoubtedly happen, is that the fans stick with the system and can help create an environment where the team don't panic and continue to play the way that we know can be successful in this league. Because I think if you look at the performance away at Norwich or the performance away at Derby, I doubt there'll be two better or more complete away performances from any team this season. So we know what the club are, what the team are capable of. And I think the other thing from that perspective is making sure we continue to support the individuals. And I know there's certain individuals in the team who probably at the moment are proving a lot of the fan base wrong. And I think it's now time that we get behind those players. And Victor and I have said for a long time, we have a core of a squad who can deliver in this league. And I think if you look at some of the players who perhaps the majority of fans might have wanted to discard in the summer, and you look at what they're achieving now, we know they've got real potential and really can deliver. So we've just got to continue to believe in them.